I'm knocking on the door of 70, and I don't see myself stopping. So I am now out helping other women to learn how to apply these practices and live what I say, a life healthier ever after, using Ayurveda. So that's how I found Ayurveda.
That's Sharon Niemi, an Ayurvedic health longevity engineer at Your Way Wellness, where she works to transform perceptions of aging. Meditation and mindfulness are a very big part of Sharon's ongoing health and wellness transformation. And today, we're talking about the power of holistic healing and health, from the food you consume to the thoughts that consume you, and what Enough-ism means to her. This minimalist wants more. Welcome to the Enough-ism podcast. I'm Reverend Yugen Bond, a metaphysical author and energy worker. This show challenges greater perceptions of mindfulness, meditation, and minimalism. Come along with me as I interview people from all around the world about what it means to have enough already. Find me on social media at I Am Enough-ism. Enjoy the show. So tell me about your background and your foray into spirituality and healing.
Thank you. Love to. So, I was for 40 years living what I thought was a healthy life. And, I didn't really suffer for 40 years for major illnesses. Other than I always carried around, 10 to 30 extra pounds. But it wasn't, for me, fighting my weight was not anything, a major concern. It was part of normal life. But when I hit my mid 40s, by that point, I had a 25-year IT career behind me. I was director level. I was climbing the corporate ladder. I was in a master's degree for quality engineering at the same time. And all of a sudden, it seemed like all of a sudden, but it was this gradual increase of, health conditions starting to raise their ugly head. I had 70 excess pounds on me. I had high cholesterol, high glucose levels, hypertensive, 10 allergies. I had mercury toxicity. I had digestive distress that would kill during the day. It was just this death spiral that I found myself on all of a sudden. And every doctor that I went to told me that it was normal aging. And my family was telling me that it's in our family genes and suck it up and deal with it. And there was just something that inside of me said, there's more to it than this. This can't be it. This can't be it. It is not in my genes. I know that. And because there are others in our family that are healthy. So I just went on a quest. And even with my crazy schedule and what I was doing, I realized if I didn't do something for myself, nobody was going to do it for me. So I'm like, this can't be life. And so I started out looking at natural methods. I was drawn to it because of my love of nature and looking at the least invasive way to heal myself. And I just ran into Ayurveda one weekend. One of my friends said, let's go to this retreat. And I did. And I walked out of there engrossed in, signed up for a 4-year academic study of Ayurveda with the sole purpose to heal myself. And off I went. And I got better. I got better, not instantly, but over time. I mean, when I finally graduated, I was much healthier than what I was, but I wasn't as healthy, optimal as I knew I could be. So when I got out, that's when my quality engineering mindset kicked in and said, well, what are the vital few things you need to do that are going to give you 80% of your results. So I started culling it down, and now what it's turned into is annual practice, what we call Ridhucharya and Dinacharya. And it's a lifestyle. It's a natural routine that I have built over time that has transformed me into 80 pounds lighter. I thought I was 70 pounds overweight. That the weight just kept coming off as I started practicing. All my allergies are gone. I have no digestive. And I'm 20 years older than I was when I found Ayurveda. Healthier, no doubt about it, than I was then. And it just seems to be no end to, I'm knocking on the door of 70, and I don't see myself stopping. So I am now out helping other women to learn how to apply these practices and live what I say, a life healthier ever after, using Ayurveda and integrating it with Western practices and other practices that they already do that are working for them. It's not a one and that's it. So that's how I found Ayurveda.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's so inspiring. It seems like your gut and your intuition has driven you to that, or along that journey. And is that something you inspire other women to do, to kind of tap into how you feel and where you are and where you need to be?
Yeah, it's all what makes you feel whole, what makes you love life and have a passion to give life to life. And to me, we are drained so much in the world that we live in, and to inspire others to know that they can give themselves life and inner happiness and all this, it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. What is the connection between everything you've learned so far and your meditation and mindfulness journey? I'm really curious.
Everything I've learned so far, I think that mindfulness has to be part of the journey, or you're going to live an unfulfilled life. Being aware, because that's what we are, is awareness. And I think that having that as part of everyday living is what I would say gives you the biggest chance of living your greatest life.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it allowed me to sit back and get away from matter and what matters, what today we think matters, with our everything we hear, see, touch, taste, and smell with our external senses. And I think what it really has brought me to is the internal aspect of our life, and to live from that point, live inside out and not outside in. Because if you do outside in, you just bring in the stress. And, Ayurveda looks at our senses as the stallions that the charioteer is trying to control through life. And so we, through our meditation practices, learn to become the charioteer and have the mind in charge of the body and not the body in charge of the mind.
I love that. Yeah. How has Ayurveda changed your sense of purpose?
It has. When I learned that Ayurveda sees that our purpose for life is to become self-realized, and the goal of getting the body into a healthy state is so that you allow the flow of energy through the body so that you can realize that energetic flow that you truly are. It looks at the having the ability to have what they call the second coming of Christ during your lifetime, living today to experience through the Kutastha. the rebirth and of the spiritual self. And it's just amazing to aspire to become self-realized in your life. There's not many people who want to take the time to sit and quiet the senses enough so that you realize the inner self with a capital S. And according to Ayurveda, health, the definition of health, it all starts with, here it is, a healthy person is one who has a connection to self, and it's with a capital S. And that's the first thing they say as a healthy person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing here about body weight or blood pressure levels or anything like that. It's just, are you balanced? And do you have a connection to your higher self? So it really has looked at, my purpose isn't to become a vice president or to become a best-selling author, although those are nice things. I love, I aspire to do those things, but that's not my purpose to be here.
Yeah. Well, aspirations can be about a lot of things. And like you mentioned, self-realization and sitting in a room with your thoughts and how terrifying that is for so many people. And, how do you think when you sit with yourself, what is that experience like? I know it changes, as you go daily through different things.
Yeah. But when I look at meditation as if a thought comes, treat it as a bird trying to nest. Don't let it nest, shoo it away, right? Or watch it, right? But I think the one thing that's helped me the most is that I came to the realization that just because I have a thought doesn't make it real. It may not be true. So I could be sitting here in meditation and I'm expecting my husband to come home, but he hasn't come home and it's a half an hour late. And all of a sudden this bird nests on my head and I start this, oh my God, he's gotten in an accident. Oh my God, I'm going to get the phone call. Oh, and I should be not worried about that in meditation, right? There should be a silent brain.
Yes,
so that's the whole thing, is to just realize that a thought is just a thought. And if you're trying to meditate, just release it as quickly as you can and try to settle back into, I call it the void, or the feeling of completeness.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Because we could all experience the exact same thing, or even just watch the exact same movie and experience it totally differently, depending on our backgrounds and what we value,
Reality. We each have our own reality. And if we only begin to realize that somebody else is not having that same experience as you are.
Yeah.
Not one person that has ever lived is having your experience.
Yeah, that's right. I want to end by, I'm very fascinated, I guess, by your foray from corporate into non-corporate. And I'm sure perhaps some of that still sticks around every now and then, but what has that been like to kind of transition the focus of your life and advance and evolve?
My goodness. Yeah. For 43 years, I was Sharon Niemi, corporate level VP quality engineer. And one day, honestly, I was just let go. And the scramble to get back in, all of these were lessons, right? The scramble to get back in, there was this, now what am I, there was a sense of who am I, even though that was only 4 years ago. And I've been meditating and doing so much quote unquote, self-help work all my life. It was a divorce. right? So there was all the stages that I went through. But then I realized that, of course, my belief has always been that one door is closed, another one should open. It doesn't necessarily have to bring you back into the same room, i.e. corporate America, but it's going to open up to something different. And I realized that I had this world of Ayurveda that was swirling in me for 14, 15 years at that point. And I had been helping others who wanted help and kind of fringe dwelling and dabbling in it. And I said, the world just needs me to go out. The world needs me to go out and speak my voice and use still all the tools. And I do quality engineering when I work with someone. I do diagnosis, I do analysis, I do prioritization, I do Paretos, I do all kinds of stuff. So I'm still kind of doing that because I love doing that. I wouldn't have done it for 43 years if I didn't enjoy it. And shame on me if I did. But the end feeling of it all has been, finally, the healer in me has been able to come out and help others heal. And that has been liberating. And the other thing has been, I have found myself with a sense of freedom, I have always said, I can't wait to be free. I can't wait to be free. But then when I was free, I wanted to get back in. I just didn't want to let go of that little bauble hanging in front of me. And it was stepping into the unknown that I realized that I set myself free. And even though I have clients and I have obligations, there is the sense of the universe has my back. Maybe that's why I chose this background I have, just because I'm saying that, is I really felt that I stepped into the river and I was supported. And I always thought that my life, I needed to control my life. And I realized, no, you just need to live your purpose, and then your life will be lived the way it should be.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, it seems like you had kind of that seed planted early on, and maybe it took years for you to realize, where kind of preparation meets luck or meets opportunity. What's that phrase? I forget.
Yeah, when luck meets opportunity, you're in, I guess. And that was it. But one of the things that I've learned is that you can't be to become self-fulfilled, you need to be self-realized. And that it's a journey that is just a day at a time. And you'll be led to it.
How can someone become better at self-realization?
It is the becoming more self-aware of the thoughts, the actions, and who you want to be. I think that has a lot to do with it, but it also has a lot to do with chakra work and releasing the stress and the survival mode that we live in. The constant barrage that we have, and taking the time. It's a few moments, and it really doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. As a practicing Kriya Bhan, I do spend an hour in the morning and at least 30 to 45 minutes, even up to an hour at night with my meditation practices. But it only takes 5 minutes a day to get started. 5 minutes a day, a couple minutes a day. Some of my clients, I'm like, let's try meditation, and oh, I can't. And it's like, okay, just sit and breathe. So we just start breathing exercises. That's a form of meditation. There's walking meditations. There's all kinds of things that you can do to bring the awareness to the present moment and not have your thoughts scattered all over the place.
Yeah. I think when it comes to meditation, a lot of people have these kind of stuffy preconceived notions, like you have to sit on the floor with your legs crossed and chant Om for 2 hours, and even a walking meditation that can be really powerful. Tell me more about kind of what's worked for you.
They all have, right? I find that my whole day becomes a meditation some days.
Yeah.
I'll go from, I do a sitting pranayama formal meditation practice every morning and evening. That's built in. Then I have some chakra work that I might do in between meetings. Love Joe Dispenza and his blessing of the energy centers, all those, things that get you to move your energy differently. Then there may be a moment of silence throughout the day. Okay, let's just not even talk for half an hour. Then there could be, I go out and bring my dog for a walk, and there's a walking meditation, and I see an eagle fly by, and so it can be just after a while, it's there and it's all around you, and Mother Nature's speaking to you no matter where you are. Come sit with me for a while. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you open your mind and your heart up, especially during the walking meditations. You become aware.
Yeah. Yeah. Just open. It's trying to keep your mind still from the past and the future, and you want to still it into the present moment. And there's nothing more powerful than focusing your entire attention on the present moment. And when someone's talking to you, if they're with you or not, right?
Yes.
If they're focused on you or not, it. If their eyes are going everywhere and they're thinking about what they need to say next to you and they're not with you. And that's a powerful in any business, is the ability to sit with somebody and be totally conscious of them and what they're bringing in that moment.
Yeah. Well, I think many people are used to the dopamine hits that society brings, whether that's social media or an action movie or whatever it is.
It's
shopping, food.
It's the horses out of control, right? The horses are running, the chariot's bouncing, and the charioteer are bouncing all over the place. Just take me for a ride. It's
right.
Yeah. And when you sit and you try to meditate and you're sitting there going, oh no, I should have had my coffee 5 minutes ago. Oh no, that new podcast is on. I need to listen to that. That's the point where you need to have the mind say, oh, wait a minute. I'm in charge here, just like a stallion. Let me sit down. Let's settle down for a minute and let's see what comes next. It's that pull and push and pull of I need to do something. And do you know you're doing more by doing nothing?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you do any journaling or any kind of brain dumping to try to get your thoughts down on paper?
I don't know if I ever move out of this house, what I'm going to do with all my journals. I carry them with me, and I just keep getting more and more boxes of journals. Yeah. I just think it's important. And there are stretches where I'll do it every day. In fact, I just finished a 6-month stretch where I journaled every day as part of my meditation. I consider it meditative to write and to get thoughts out. As one of our elimination channels. We think of urine and bowels and those sort of things, but our voice, right?
Yes.
Our thoughts, they need to come out. And if they don't, they can stagnate the body. And I went through a really tough time with my mom, 91 years old, getting COVID when she was in rehab and never coming out. And that just was my way of dealing with it all. And so, I think it's a great tool to have.
Yeah, I think it is too. I actually just started leading a journaling group online. I have about 40 people from all over the country on Zoom.
Oh,
and we use journalism as like a mindfulness tool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a big advocate of just brain dumping, but from like a meditation perspective too. It just, you clear your mind. And it's like, all right, it's up here, but I'm going to get it done on paper. I don't have to worry about it anymore, or at least not right now. So.
Yeah, that's it. And when I first started meditating, I had a notepad next to me. And if I got stuck on a thought, don't forget that meeting, that senior person's going to be needing this, right? I'd put it down, and then I'd say, okay, you're not going to forget it now. Go back to work, yeah. Which is non-work.
Right, exactly.
Go back to work and do nothing. Okay.
That's great. This has been wonderful. I have one last question for you. What does Enough-ism mean to you?
Enough-ism is, and I've felt that is it. I think it's the cause of so much stress in our lives today, is that the more you get, the more you think you need. And the more you get, the more stress you have over the things you have. And it just is a hamster wheel of, I don't have enough when you have too much. And I really think taking the minimalist approach and giving up the need for a lot of things we don't need. I think that's what enough is. I've had enough. Enough is just stressful. It is. It's just too stressful. And I was taught as a kid growing up, the more you have, the better off you are. And I just don't think that's true.
I agree. That's why I started the Enough-ism podcast. So we're on the same page. Yeah.
The more you have, the more stressors you have in your life. And there is a point where too much is too much.
Right. Yeah, that's very well stated. I completely agree. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on the Enough-ism podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anywhere we can find you? Do you have a website or anything you'd like to tell our listeners about?
I do. I have my website, yourwaywellness.com. And on there, I have a library full of free resources on Ayurveda and, what it is, from what it is to how to use it. Specifically, most of my clients are interested in weight loss, and I call it permanent weight loss with Ayurveda, and anti-aging. I'm getting way too old too fast. So those are the two main points of concern that most women come to me with. And then there's another group that, are really specific about, I have a digestive disorder, or I have skin conditions, I want to get rid of these allergies, and we'll work specifically on those health concerns. But I do have some programs, and you can find it all on Your Way Wellness, or if you just want to shoot me an email, Sharon@yourwaywellness.com.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Not a problem.
Congratulations. You've reached the end of the Enough-ism podcast. Show some love if you'd like by subscribing and leaving a review. If you wish to support the show, you can download the Enough-ism ebook, now available on Amazon, by visiting IamEnough-ism.com. Make a Venmo donation if you'd like at Enough-ism. Questions or comments? Want to be a guest on the show? Drop me a note at enoughisompodcast@gmail.com. I'm Reverend Yugen Bond. Remember, we are all enough just the way we are. See you next time.